All right, Chelsea, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good, good. Thanks for coming in today. How's everything going?
Things are great. We had a good April. I'm excited to start May.
Great. So what would you say you want to get out of today's meeting?
Just set the expectations for the first week. Make sure we're in alignment with the monthly goals.
Awesome. What are our goals? You got those? You got the email? What are the goals?
Yes, I'm going after 40 membership units this month and 20 PT agreements, so 60 total.
Fantastic. How do you feel about that?
Membership I think is great. I'll definitely hit that. PT is a little bit higher than we have been averaging, so I'm a little bit nervous about that one.
Tell me more.
We've been doing closer to 15, so 20 is a little bit of a stretch, but we had a really good closeout in April, so we have a lot of opportunity in our pipeline.
Okay. So do you feel it's beyond your capabilities this month, or?
No, and I know that it's based off of 2019, so we've done it before. We can do it again.
Okay, super. All right, let's talk about this week and how we're going to kick off this month.
So I'm going after 10 membership units this week and 7 PT agreements. So my focus for membership is 28 membership appointments in my schedule for the week, and then I want to book 10 more PT appointments for this week.
Okay. And so your end result is 10, 7. So 28 membership appointments is in the schedule. Have you done the math on that? Is that going to get you to your goal?
Yeah, so my team's been averaging about a 50% show and a 70% close. So that doesn't count any walk-in, drop-in action, which I don't want to rely on. So that should get us 10 units, which we've been averaging. Okay,
so then your closing is a little bit above average right now compared to the rest of the team. Okay, excellent. That's fair. So 7 PT agreements. How many of those are renewals versus new business?
We have 1 renewal coming in this week on Tuesday. Susie, she's already in the schedule, so the other 6 are going to have to be new business.
Scale of 1 to 10. Susie doing it this week. 10 being totally going to do it. 1 being not so much.
I would say 9.5. We had the conversation last week. She's already confirmed for her appointment.
How many times has she renewed so far?
This is her 3rd renewal.
Excellent. All right, so then it sounds like we can count on that. So that means you need 6 pieces of new business?
We do, yeah.
10 appointments. Will that get you there?
We would have to close a little bit higher than we have been, but 10 is really all my team can fit in their schedule this week because we have Caitlin out.
Oh, she's out the whole week?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Who approved that? Oh, you're joking. Okay, so with that, do you feel, now that we do the math on that, so ultimately the 10 PT appointments is probably not realistic?
I think I can get there. We just have to close higher to get those 6 new business units.
And have you done anything different with your team in terms of role play practice that would indicate that they can do that?
Not out of our normal sales call, no.
Okay. Because you have a little bit of a cushion in here. We need 15 agreements per week, right? Like I think you said. What do you think you need to adjust, the goal or the commitment this week?
Like I said, I can't really adjust the commitment any higher just because we don't have the availability.
Okay.
But now that we kind of fleshed out the math, it would probably make sense to lower that PT agreement.
Okay. What do you want to do?
Based off 10 appointments, our show and close, I could probably get in 5 PT agreements this week.
5 PT. All right, so that would still give us 15. You'd still be on pace. No problem with that, right?
Yeah, I just wanted to get a little bit ahead, but we do have a lot of renewals coming in the 3rd week of the month, so we can probably push a little bit harder that week.
Cool. I love the fact that you know your business. I can always count on that, so appreciate that. What do you need from me this week to help if I'm available?
Like you said, we've been closing at 70%. I would like to continue that, so if we can maybe schedule like a closing training for us, just to make sure that we're still on that pace for 70%.
For the whole team or for you?
Just me, and then I can carry it down to the team.
I got an opening at 4 today. Does that work for you?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, so we'll do 4 o'clock today. Anything else that I can help you with?
No, I think I'm good.
All right, so if we're to recap here, we're going to do 15 agreements now. We're going to do 28 membership appointments. You're going to book 10 PT appointments, and the only thing that you need from me to achieve your goal this week is we're going to do a role play today at 4, which we'll dive into specifically closing to keep you at 70%.
Yes.
Awesome. All right, so I have some housekeeping I'd like to go over real quick, and then. So, what'd you think?
Damn. How much do you pay her? Like, Jesus. We're practicing on the boat last
So, again, folks.
A food porn day. She said one-on-one porn out loud, and I was like, wow.
You gotta remember, I've been doing one-on-ones with him for 9 years, so this is.
And that's ultimately, like when I meet with Chelsea, that's ultimately how it goes sometimes. And that's where, again, we're talking about elevating your team to get to that level, right? So ideally, 80% of your team should be able to have that prepared. Now, where things tend to get unruly, emotion, right? So for example, we're way behind in the month. You got to be patient, understanding that's about calibrating your team. Just because you might miss goal this month, you're thinking about that long-term picture. A better team member that you put in that time is going to be worth it. So biting your tongue sometimes, like myself, is very important so that you're building that connection with your team member and you're building that trust. Yes, in the back.
Yeah, so we have one club, we have 2 full-time trainers / PT manager, and then 2 floating staff members. So including me, 5 total. Can you give me an idea of, because I've really never done one-on-one meetings with my staff. We do a weekly WIG on Mondays at 1 with everyone. But I love the idea of having these one-on-one meetings where we are much more hyper-focused on our expectations and goals for the week.
Yep.
How and when?
Well, so if you're the owner, right, then you have your direct report, so you would do a one-on-one with him or her, and then it would just work its way down, right? So does your PT manager report, who does your PT manager report to?
Me.
You. And who else reports to you? Or you ultimately the general manager of your facility?
Yes.
Okay, so you're the acting general manager as the owner, right? So you have 5 people that report to you?
4.
4. So you would have, all one of those would be one-on-ones with each of them.
Like on Friday before the following week?
The
or
challenge
Monday?
with Fridays, we have a great conversation, we're ready to go. Weekend comes, forget it, and then Monday, right? So ideally Mondays for that week. You know, if you have them on, like we always do, we don't necessarily go Monday to Friday, we go the day that we meet. So like I meet with Chelsea on Tuesday, so we go Tuesday morning all the way through midnight on Monday, and that's our cadence there. Again though, there's hybrids, which for example, you could meet with your club manager and your PT manager, because they're both managers, and you could do a WIG meeting with them. We sometimes have done that in the past. And then you can meet with your coaches individually. The problem with that is then you have to relay the information, right? So I think if you have one club, this is not a bad way to do it in the group setting, but we can kind of spitball some different ideas there. You know, yes.
So I love that you said, what can I do to help you reach your goals this week? A lot of times I get, like, what do you need from me to reach that? And they'll say, nothing.
Nothing.
Do
Most
you
common answer.
document that, and then if they don't reach you, say, you know, Tricia, like you told me last week that you didn't need any of my help, and then you still didn't reach your goal?
100%.
Like,
Yeah.
You do address it? Okay.
And so I say, so there's nothing that you need from me this week. You got this. If I don't talk to you the rest of the week, you'll call me if you need something, right? Done. So that way, when they come back, like, listen, we agreed that you didn't need anything. And that's the thing, being proactive. I didn't hear from you, right? If Chelsea ever gets to 0, very rarely, she's going to let me know in advance that, hey, just give you a heads up. We had some issues, whatever, so and so quit. I'm not happy about it, but the fact is, if she shows up and it's just a boom, like that's not a good relationship.
My question is, and you might be like, this might be hard, but I feel like, you know, the level at which you're operating is such that powerful conversation is at a level that is, like, we're not there yet. Like that, you know, your demeanor and the way that you're role playing,
Confidence.
Confidence level, and just, you know, I get it. I understand where you're coming from. You're running $1 million PT business. Everybody's totally accountable. You know, you probably have really top level professionals like you're working with that can understand the entire business top down. I think that's, to me, it's kind of evident. But I think, you know, for me in an application sense, thinking about it, to elevate my people, have that level of a conversation. If I walked in and I said, this is the way we're going to do stuff from now on, I might not have a staff after a short period of time because, you know, but that's what scares me. Maybe I got to change my own mindset. Like,
No, honestly, Jamie, I think you do a much better job than I do because where I am a bit more direct, right? So, like, it's very, like, Chelsea will attest to this. When I talk to team members, if I just say, hey, how you doing? They're going to be like, whoa, Andy just yelled at me, right? Because they're going to interpret differently. So to what you think is possibly my strength sometimes becomes a weakness, but what your weakness is might actually be your strength, right? Softer approach, you have more rapport, more empathy. You seem like a more empathetic person than I am, right? And that is going to work, so that's where you focus on your strength to get it done. And they're going to, again, that servant leadership. And again, this is a role play, so we're a little bit tighter with it. I've worked with her before, so that's one of the reasons.
Well, it would just be impressed if I had an interview with my regional manager and she knew her numbers that well.
Well, but you gotta teach them, right? You gotta, hey, when you meet with me next week,
Yeah.
here's how I want it to go. Like, here's what I need you to know, right? And before the X talks about exactly that, right?
Correct.
The other part of it, right, when Andrew is sitting down with the team, because they know what to expect and they know how the whole thing is gonna go, it makes it easier to go. I think the most challenging part comes to is when the staff don't do what they need to do. It's the coaching in the follow-up 7 days to get them back on track. And I think that's the part that most of us tend to slack in or not do a very good job in, to coach them up to get them back on track. Because as Megan said, when you ask them, okay, so what do you need from me in order for things, right, to be different next week? And when they say, well, nothing, not at all, Megan, if I'm you, I'm gonna follow up with that person probably Tuesday, Wednesday, just to check in. Hey, how you doing? Like, are you still on track? How can I help?
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, to that point, it's that consistency and that discipline of doing it every time. You're not gonna be great at that content conversation, but you just gotta start having it and making sure that you're doing it. And then all of a sudden, again, just like somebody new, to closing, to sales, you just work at it.
And I think where, like, our staff, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but they lose respect for us because, one, we don't follow up and follow through, and two, when we ask people to do something and they don't do it, right, that we don't provide them any coaching, so therefore they don't actually get better, they don't improve, right, and therefore we dropped a level or two in our sense of authority, right, and leadership and guidance in their eyes. That can't happen.
Yeah, we lose relationships.
Right, that can't happen, right? So if the staff isn't getting better and you guys are not checking in, we're not holding the team accountable, you're gonna lose respect from the team, they're gonna stop doing the thing. And so, but that's where, like, I would love for you guys to, reach out to me, to Adam, and, to Andrew's team, and say, hey, here's where I'm stuck at, like, this is what we've been talking about. Like, I don't want to go another week or 2 weeks without the stuff improving. How can I turn this around before it gets to the inevitable meeting? They don't give a low, they don't want to be here, right?
Yeah, so make sure you have the capital, build that up, and then you can ease into putting some number. All you're doing is you're putting a number. You guys can already see, like, that's all you're doing is they're creating these numbers. Okay?
Yeah, and I think, associating, pleasure, right, with the things that they are doing. Well, like John is real good with that. I think in many ways I'm very much like Andrew, but John is a lot more the fun, like associates pleasure with it, although if you get John on the other side.